For Will, it's a second trip to the feature match area. You can see him back. If you want to see his previous match, that was round 3. Of course, can catch all of the matches from this weekend's events will be on YouTube, SCG Live channel. Bryant Cook, though, he wins the die roll, and he will go first. He's playing Burn. Starts off with Bloodstained Mire. And we'll see just where we start.
Losing the die roll, definitely bad for the Jeskai player.
Stomping Ground down to 17. Now, I do like some aspects of Will's deck for this matchup. 4 Lightning Helix main. 4 Bolt, 4 Helix, 4 Path. That's great.
One thing that he doesn't have that you see in other builds of Jeskai, no main deck timely reinforcements, which would have been very helpful here. It's
Wild Cattle for Cook as we go to Will. Will's list, interesting in some ways. He has main deck 2 Cryptics. In the main deck, that's not really going to help him here. Main deck Supreme Verdict. So he starts on Celestial Colonnade. We go back to Cook. He's going to make his Nacatl up to a 3/3, thanks to Sacred Foundry. And now that he's down to 14, he'll start going to work on Will's life total. A crash in for 3 is going to come.
And I like Bryant just fetching and shocking aggressively, understanding that his life total is not the number that matters here. I see a lot of Burn players being very conservative with their fetch lands, finding basic mountain. I really like just aggressively finding the non-basics.
I said 3. Let's make that 5 instead. Goblin Guide joined the Nacatl. So it was a turn 2 swing for 5. Will's down to 15. He did give Will a Flooded Strand, and here's a play I love from Bryant. Turn 2, he just immediately lightning bolts Will while Will's tapped down.
That's not going anywhere else, right?
Yeah, and there's nothing like a Swift Spear in his hand, so...
Yeah, this way it can't get caught with a mana leak, and Will either has to deal with these creatures or die to them. If he deals with them, won't have mana for mana leak for the spell on the following turn either.
Fetch land for Will, he'll pass. Here's an attack by Bryant. Snapcaster Mage on top of the deck. Path to Exile now on the Wild Nacatl. An interesting play here by Will. He played a fetch land, a Scalding Tarn that turn, but it was actually not the fetch land that he drew for free off the Goblin Guide, so Bryant knows a little more.
Yeah. An edge that's not likely to matter in a matchup like this, but even still, you probably should just play the other fetch.
So, and now we see a hard cast Rift Bolt straight at Will. No time for suspending. He's got Will down to...
Whatever.
down to 7. Will fetch to 6. 2 cards left in Bryant Cook's hand.
Now, a Burn player with 2 cards, an opponent with 6 life.
Uh-oh.
The combinations here are
I know
immense.
some math. That's not... I don't like it. And Will's hand has the wrong cards. 2 Nahiris, 2 lands, Snapcaster Mage, Mana Leak.
Snapcaster Path can deal with Goblin Guide on the table. Really just casting Snapcaster Mage and blocking deals with Goblin Guide, though those 2 cards in hand, very unsettling.
He will pass. Leaving up Snapcaster Path, he's going to take another stab at a free land. Bryant draws a 3rd card. At least one of his cards is Boros Charm. This might be the last turn of the game. Here's Goblin Guide. It shows Lightning Helix on top. If Will can survive to cast it, it'll be phenomenal.
That would feel a lot better in Will's hand, but...
Snapcaster Mage on Path. Will tap for the Path, and now we can find out, is he dead?
Casting the Path there means he can't cast Spell Snare if he were to have it. I would assume that he just does not have Spell Snare in hand, but now Bryant is just ready to go.
Boros Charm, Lava Spike, game 1, Bryant Cook. You tap down and you say, please don't kill me. Yeah, well, Brian's going to do it.
I don't know if Will could win that game on the play, but losing the die roll certainly made it easy for Burn there.
So a quick game 1 goes in favor of Burn. We're going to go over to the sideboards. Jeskai Control usually has good weapons here, and I don't think this is going to be any disappointment.
Yeah, a lot of different cards in the Jeskai sideboard here. 2 copies of Core Firewalker, Slam Dunk for sure coming in. 2 Crumble to Dust, I'll pass on that. 1 Timely Reinforcements, that's great. Love to have that coming in. Engineered Explosives, Wrath of God. These 2 one-ups probably a little bit slow. There's some argument for having them. On the play, they're a lot better. Stony Silence, non-starter. Keranos, no good. Celestial Purge, it's good. Deals with most of the creatures in Bryant's deck. Wear Tear, no. Dispel is good. Negate is fine. Trades with most of the cards, so I like Negate. Rest in Peace is a pass. Anger to the Gods is better than Wrath of God.
Yeah, I was wondering, Anger of the Gods, is pass or... Yeah, do you pass or no?
I'll put it in. I'll put it in.
Okay. Depends what all you have. Yep. On Bryant Cook's side, I like that his sideboard only has 5 different cards?
Yep.
Getting right to the point. 4 Destructive Revelry, 4 Path to Exile, 3 Core Firewalker, 2 Stony Silence, 2 Grim Lavamancer.
Biggest mistake I see Burn players make in Modern, over sideboarding.
Is they sideboard? Just keep it in the box?
Your stuff all deals 3 damage. There's some argument for Core Firewalker here because most of what Will is doing to remove your creatures is red spells. It's not great. I don't really like it. I think that's mostly going to be for the mirror. So
yeah. Do you have to board in paths for his Firewalkers? Or are we getting too techie?
I wouldn't bring in more than 1 or 2. It's okay. I think it's
not even a given that actually Will has Firewalkers. I
right.
mean, if this is happening, that would be in a theoretical game 3.
The odds that Will has 4 Core Firewalkers are 0. So it's going to be at most 2 or 3 copies. You can kind of bet on game 2, even if they have them, they won't draw them.
Yeah, I actually, when I play against Jessica, I would expect him to have 0. Like it's in his range to have them, but more often than not, they show up with 0.
Yeah, I'll play around it when I see it.
Yeah, that makes sense. We're going to get ready for game 2. We're going to tell you a little about the Invitational qualifiers. Our Invitational's next weekend. So you might be thinking this is a great tournament. We have it 3 times a year. There are championships of each season. How do you get there? Well, you do that by qualifying at a store near you. So for our Summer Invitational qualifiers, these are the events from July. Started in July. They're all the way through September. We have a lot of things to give away. You see right there a playmat for the Pick Up the Scent playmat given to players. For the top 8, we have the Max McVitie Invitational tokens. He was our Season 1 Invitational winner. Free premium given away as prizes. The qualification, we mentioned that. Actually, you can use it for any of the next 3 Invitationals after you win it. So if maybe you can't go to the one next week, but you want to play one tomorrow in your region, that's fine. That's fine. You can play in the Season 3 one or the Season 1 of next year. So we have pins and SCG Premium all given away. You can find out more and find a location near you at starcitygames.com/IQ.
IQs are great tournaments. I've played a few of these in my time. Always very enjoyable. Great to give store-level tournaments that have that much on the line.
Yeah, I've played a couple locally as well. They're excellent. So, game number 2 underway. All right, so on Will Harrod's side, he's on the play this time with Jeskai. He's going to start off on Basic Mountain. We go back over to Bryant Cook.
Leaving up some Lightning Bolt mana, ready for that Goblin Guide, ready for that Swift Spear.
Yeah, a technical difficulty right here. We're going to get the life totals up as soon as we can for you. Meantime, we're just going to do this the old-fashioned way. All right, so Grim Lavamancer was a play from Bryant. Will's going to Lightning Bolt it down. And we're back. Boom.
I like Bryant leading on Lavamancer. I assume if he just has a different creature, I like leading on that over it because you would rather it get Lightning Bolted. With Will leading on Mountain, he has to be Lightning Bolt, right?
Yeah, and now he'll play one of his 1-drops and Goblin Guide. So you'd assume that if Will's leading on Basic Mountain, yeah, or he's light on lands. A pair of Goblin Guide flips draws Will a Sulphur Falls.
Well, I think it has to be representing Lightning Bolt exactly. Otherwise, you would just get your Shock Land, your Celestial Colonnade on the battlefield.
Path to Exile on top of Will's deck. And now Will's going to go ahead and crack a fetch land. Wasn't sure he would do this one. Drawing Path seems excellent, but he must have something good in store.
Something good, or just really does not want to take 2 additional damage.
Well, going to take 2 additional.
Casting a spell now.
I like that we say that as he puts Hallowed Fountain into play.
It's not additional damage because this 2 damage is going to stop a whack in the face from a Goblin Guide.
All right. I'll allow it. The judges give a 6.0 on that one. Lightning Helix on the Goblin Guide will put Will back up to 20, and then he goes down to 18 off the Goblin Guide hit. And I think this gameplay we're seeing right here is why you'll see a lot of Jeskai players like the Burn matchup.
So Will just made a pretty interesting mistake on that turn. He played Sulphur Falls, and he has Timely Reinforcements in his hand. He pushed it to the front, but he has more life than Bryant. If he played a Shockland untapped, which he has, he could go to 16, gain life, and make 1/1s.
Easy mistake to make. You know, you're playing against Burn. I want to play Sulphur Falls, not Steam Vents, right?
Right.
He flips for the Goblin Guide, then Path to Exiles it.
I will hand it to Will here, though. He caught the mistake before he cast the Timely, didn't just blow that 6 life.
And who knows? Maybe if he ends the game with the Timely Reinforcements in his hand, well, then we're winning anyway.
This game is looking quite good for him, I will say that.
It is, but you look at the rest of Will's hand. It is Sulfur Falls, Steam Vents, Timely Reinforcements, so there's a way we could lose.
Yeah, with the Goblin Guide passed, the Timely is no longer going to be making creatures.
Lava Spike hits Will down to 15. He'll play Sulfur Falls and pass. He did draw that Cryptic command, though, which he knew saw off Goblin Guide.
That's a nice one to have.
Yeah, fantastic time for that kind of card. If your opponent plays a creature, do you counter? Say Bryant plays a Swift Spear. Do you counter draw it, or do you get real greedy with your Timely?
Oh, I get real greedy. It's not even greedy. You're going to gain more life than you're going to take damage.
Maybe.
The concern is that Bryant has a Skull Crack, but with Swift Spear, Bryant would be incentivized to cast a spell during combat.
All right. 5th land for Bryant.
That's enough lands where he could maybe Swift Spear a spell and leave up Skull Crack.
Another land for Will. Remember, Bryant knows about the Cryptic command here.
Yep.
So they'll just trade land drops. I mean, if you're a Will Harrod fan, you are fine with that.
2 more lands, and Cryptic Timely is an option. Probably cast in the other order.
Yeah, the ability just to leave up to have 7.
Yep.
Bryant has 3 cards still in hand, though, as he draws up to 4. At least one Boros Charm is in the grip. Now he will play a creature.
Looks like a Goblin Guide.
Yeah.
If I'm Harrod, I don't know.
It's close,
countering
right?
it's good.
You're gonna counter, and if Bryant's, this was the test spell.
I think your highest potential payoff is to take it on the chin and cast Timely, but it does have pretty big downside if it doesn't work.
So now he Boros Charms Will. I actually really like how Bryant played this. So against a Snapcaster Mage deck, a guy who has Cryptic Command in hand, Lightning Helix, and Path to Exile in the graveyard, Goblin Guide's not worth any damage anymore. You know, if you're in Bryant, you're looking at that Goblin Guide and you're saying you're a 0, right?
Yep.
And you just got Will to Cryptic it. I'm in.
Yep, it was a window to resolve Boros Charm. Still a long way to go with Will at 11, but
6th land for Will, and now he has to decide whether to try to play Timely Reinforcements. Bryant leaving up some Skullcrack or Atarka's command mana. He dissuades Will.
Will would love it if Bryant just cast Wild Nicottle.
Well, how about Eidolon of the Great Revel? If Bryant has to play a creature into Timely, it might as well be that. Will bolt the Eidolon, but he goes to 9 to do so. And you're just starting to feel here that Bryant's got I think he's a step ahead here.
So I agree with the Cryptic command on the Goblin Guide. Against the Eidolon, I'm pretty big on the waiting and casting Timely Reinforcements.
It is extra damage if you cast that, right? You're taking 2 and then taking 2 again.
Yeah,
when you bolt
you would gain 2 life, but he has to get a clock at this point.
It looks like what Will wants to do is he wants to wait to play that Timely until he's got a negate or something for the Skullcrack that he believes is in Bryant's hand.
Yeah, this will be better than my play if negate does show up. If it doesn't, though, he has no clock. And
this is
he's
dangerous.
At a very
yeah.
precarious life total.
Draws another land for Will. It was a Celestial Colonnade, so of all the lands that we'd have to draw, this is the best.
Yes.
He'll play it. Still has that Timely and just 2 more lands in hand.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I would not cast that Timely here. I like passing the turn.
You got to make Bryant respect Snapcaster Cryptic at this point.
Yep. Bryant has demonstrated that he's not going to play into things that he doesn't have to. So with passing, you can be fairly confident that you aren't just going to die, even though your hand is blank.
Big draw for Will. It was Lightning Helix. Now he's going to go to work. He's going to activate Celestial Colonnade and attack. And I like this play from Will.
Yeah. Leaves up mana for the Lightning Helix.
Yeah, and it's also, eventually, with Will at 8, Bryant will draw upwards of 16 points of burn where he'll just end step play it all and then do it again, right?
And Bryant here very smart, casting a Tarka's Command before declare attackers. With Celestial Colonnade, it's a mana source with Vigilance. I see some players waiting for the attacker to be declared. If Will needs to use that mana, Bryant is saving on 4 points of damage here.
Oh, wow, okay. But he's still in... Yeah, no life gain and deal 3 are the modes chosen. Will cast a Lightning Helix now. Does Bryant have another effect of this sort?
With the test spell being a Tarka's Command, I would figure there'd be a Skullcracker a second, but it's not looking like there is one.
No, so Will just gains 3 life as the Bryant takes 3. And
with Bryant's hands, Boros Charm, though.
Then Will goes back down to 8. Yeah, Lightning Bolt. I don't think he cares. That was the test spell. Will's down to 5. Bryant's drawing to a win here. Does he hit? We will see.
It needs to be... There's very few spells that don't do it here.
A Tarka's Command to put Will to 2. And is Will going to lose the game with a Timely in hand? No, he isn't.
Oh, wow.
Bryant misses on the draw. And now Will could not cast this Timely soon enough. He dodged a top deck from Cook, and now he's back up to 8. Fetch down to 7. And he knows that spell in Bryant's hand is not worth 2 damage.
Right. And has enough mana here to attack with Colonnade as well. So
great.
Cook's going to be dead in just 2 more turns.
Will could have saved a life point there by attacking and then timelying.
Yes.
Okay. Colonnade is a 4/4. Hits in. Bryant's down to 8. Will trying to close the door on Bryant's top decks. That looks like a burn spell. But if Bryant didn't have 2 damage last turn, it's very hard for him to get 7 in this draw and plus 1 more.
Right.
Colonnade turned into a 4/4 again. It'll hit Bryant down to 4. Looks like Will's going to go to attacks, and now Bryant's making a move. It's another Tarka's Command. And what is the spell that Bryant's playing for? Will's down to 4. Attacks with Colonnade. Maybe it's Swift Spear. That would make sense.
Yeah, Boros Charm off the top here would close it. We've seen some exquisite Firecrafts out of Burn, which would be a surefire top deck here, but no Firecrafts in Cook's list.
Nahiri from Will taps him out. Can Bryant win here? Top deck. Shows it, and he doesn't have it. We're on to a 3rd game.
Some interesting decision trees there. Will had a couple different ways to play it. Never got greedy on anything. Played it very conservatively. Ended up paying off. There was some concern for a bit about him actually finding a clock. The Celestial Colonnade came down maybe right on time.
Yeah, Colonnade seemed like how he was going to win the game. I think, and it was played well. There was 2 times where he had to dodge Bryant drawing a lethal burn spell.
Yep.
And he almost lost the game with a Timely Reinforcements in hand. Granted, Bryant had 3 Tarka's Commands.
The game also potentially was a runaway for Will if he plays Untap Shock on turn 3 and just casts Timely for creatures on that turn. So that would be a very different game. But one way or the other, we're going to game 3.
All right, well, they're going to shuffle up for game 3. We're going to talk about SCG, StarCityGames.com Game Night for a second. So these are the pins that you see on our jackets that we wear. Each and every month you can win exclusive pins and foils for attending a game night anywhere around the country. These are events held near you in just about every format. So, Young Burromancer was the August exclusive. Now, we haven't done coverage for about a month here, so there's going to be some new ones on here for you. I don't know if you've seen them yet.
I haven't. What do we got?
All right. So, next month we are rolling out our Bone Chewer Giant. So, this is our gigantic dog warrior. Hound warrior, perhaps. He is a 5/5. That's going to be exclusive. You can win that one. Now, if your store gets signed up in time, we can get you signed up for the October promotion. And the October promotion, this one might be my favorite of the year. It is Hedgehogahog, which, if you aren't familiar with this reference, this is to the unglued, or is it unhinged card, Atagatog.
That's an Odyssey card.
Wait, Atagatog?
That's just a real magic card.
No. The fake one's what? Atagatog?
Is there a fake one?
I thought there is one. Okay, anyway, there's
This
a
is
real
just,
one.
You're thinking of a real Magic card from Odyssey named the Togatog.
Okay. I don't know what I'm talking about. Well, I don't know. This one is being given away in October. So you can find that on our event finder, starcitygames.com/game night. I thought that was an unglued card. It's so weird.
I understand your angle, but you're wrong.
You know, yeah. Okay, apparently it's real. Yeah, I get it. All right.
Teach you to question
Look at
me.
that's not. That art is way too silly for it to be a real card.
Look at how very typical Magic this card is.
like a bunch of. Come on, that looks like an unhinged card.
Eh.
Like unglued, like Okay, underway. Bryant Cook on the play with Burn. He is making short work of the game. Starts on Wild Nacatl, then has Wild Nacatl get joined by more haste creatures. He's serving a ton of damage on turn 2.
Swift Spear and Goblin Guy joining the team and attack for 6 on turn 2. Very strong start.
Yeah, Will is going to fetch. At least he'll have one piece of one-mana interaction, it looks like here. So he fetches to 19. Yeah, 6 damage appears to be coming his way.
This might just be a fetch for a tap land in response to the Goblin Guy trigger, which I don't.
You'd want to see the Goblin Guide trigger first and then fetch. You decide if you want to fetch.
Yeah.
Usually. You know, if there's a Lightning Helix on top of your deck, you probably want to keep that.
Right.
Yeah, it looks like the. All right, so we go back to Will. He will go ahead and shock here for Sacred Foundry. And now it's his sideboard card, Core Firewalker, a big one for the matchup. Will is down to 11, though. 3 damage off his own lands. As you mentioned, 6 damage off that attack, and Bryant's just going to keep the pressure on.
Wild Nacatl's looking real good here.
Yes.
The red creature's not so much, though. Casting a couple red spells here. Let's say, what if we start this combat with an Atarka's Command?
Then we just don't care. I mean, it's not like Firewalker's going to kill anything. Lava Spike, this is terrifying. If your
opponent's just casting red sorceries into your Firewalker.
All right, so Will's down to 9, not 8 because he gained 1, then lost 3. Top card is Path to Exile. He's going to try to take the free block. He'll block Goblin Guide. And here's Lightning Bolt at Will. He'll go up to 10, down to 7. He is right now set to take 6. So he'll go to 1. And Bryant will lose the Goblin Guide.
Hope your third land's not a fetch land. Oh, looks like it's definitely not, but there's a lot of lands in Will's hand.
Yeah, I was actually, this is good, except Will's going to stabilize here. He's going to win this 1-1. Core Firewalker in play. He passes back to Bryant.
Yeah, Stomping Ground was the card in hand for Cook. Untapped Stomping Ground's interesting.
Yeah, that was the last card in Bryant's hand, so we still don't know the draw. Here's a swing. Both creatures are lethal. A Path on Wild Nacatl. I mean, so everything looks good to Will. But here's the fishy part. Bryant knew about the Path and is making this attack anyway.
Yep.
So you should assume that last card does something.
Yes.
Bryant's a much too strong of a player to be suiciding here. And he's going to go for the win. It's Boros Charm. Does Will have it covered? He does. It's Spell Snare. Will gains a life off the Boros Charm.
Swiftspear will at least survive here, but
okay.
Still an uphill battle.
No cards in hand for Bryant.
And
Nahiri draw, yeah.
With Cryptic Command in hand.
Wow. Bryant will pass. Yeah, he's got to be so careful here, right?
I like just leaving the shields up here. Definitely agree with not casting Nahiri.
How do you feel about timely reinforcements?
Dicey. Do we have a 2-mana? I think I just sit on Cryptic Command for a minute. If he casts 2 red spells, one of them has to be Boros Charm to kill you because you'll gain life off a Core Firewalker.
Okay.
And then you can counter whatever spell with Cryptic Command.
At 1 more land, Will can play Timely with Snapcaster Spell Snare up.
Yes.
At 7 lands, he can cast Timely with Cryptic up.
Though with 2 islands in play, he's running shy on lands that enter the battlefield untapped. One of the Sulfur Falls in play already.
Okay. And this is a big decision for Will.
Yep.
I don't know how much of a penalty there is for him saying go. I mean, I guess Bryant just keeps drawing live spells. But what I like is that every time Bryant tries for a Boros Charm and Will counters it, he gains a life.
If my opponent thinks this long about casting Timely Reinforcements, and if I have a burn spell, I'm going for it in this window.
Here's Timely. Will takes the risk. He takes the shields down and
Game.
goes to 8. Yep. Will takes the risk but is rewarded, and now I don't. That was it.
Yeah. This one's over, folks.
Nahiri is the draw for Will's second copy. Not completely over, but getting very close. Here's Snapcaster Mage. Will's just going to try to gain life again. Go right back to the well.
You were saying?
He's now up to 14. Oof. So how about those sideboard cards? Core Firewalker and Timely Reinforcements. They're one thing, if you're going to play Burn, you got to understand there are some sideboard cards that are real good against you, and Will is showing off.
And Bryant's start was so good.
He got him to 1, yeah.
Goblin Guide, Swift Spear.
It was almost a turn 3 kill. He got him to 1 on turn 3.
Yeah.
Swing by Nakado, puts Will to 11. Draws Engineered Explosives. Okay, all right. We can leave up Cryptic for that one too, huh?
Yeah, we can hang out, wait to pop it.
All right. Explosive set to 1. Yeah.
If he wanted to, he could Nahiri away Nakadal. Obviously, once you cast explosives, I don't think you're doing that.
Not even going to leave up the Cryptic. He'll just sweep away Brian's creatures.
I like an attack with Snapcaster Mage here.
We'll go for both.
Yeah,
Even it up at 11.
YOLO.
You want him to take a Goblin Guide hit now just to show?
Teach him a lesson.
Teach him, yeah. He shouldn't have swung there. Okay, how about a Swift Spear hit? It's not really a hit, though, because Will's going to go to 12 before it attacks, but you get the idea.
Right.
Here's Eidolon. He'll go to 13. So actually, it's going to go the other direction. And oh, yeah, Nahiri can just exile away the Eidolon.
Sure can. Nahiri does not care if enchantments are tapped or not.
You know, she costs 4, so it doesn't really
Also,
trigger it. She gains a life.
Yeah, gains a life when he casts it.
Firewalker. Here comes the Snapcaster Mage. Bryant going to go to 9, it looks like. And there we go. Here's the Lithomancer. Can pick what she wants to exile, Swift Spear or Eidolon.
Dealer's choice.
I like getting rid of the Swift Spear, actually. That's
Bryant's at 9.
great.
You gonna
Will's
cast
ahead
a
on life
spell?
points.
You had it on the table too. Had on cards in hand.
So Bryant Cook, game 3, puts Will to 1 on the 3rd turn. But that's about where it stops.
Cast a second Eidolon, costs him life, gains Will life.
Gross. Just gross. Will can use these 2 Nahiris if he wants to exile all of Bryant's creatures. You know, exile Nahiri, exile, attack.
Yep.
Shrug. Correction here, Bryant is at 5 life. There's an Eidolon trigger. Yeah, players are confirming life totals. I believe there's an Eidolon trigger that we had missed up here from the booth. On the other hand, if your opponent's at 5 and you have, like, part of me just wants to hit him with the Firewalker and then say, okay, good luck playing spells.
Yeah.
You can't. You'll lose. Yeah, Nahiri discards Nahiri.
And Will still with Cryptic Command. And a
Lightning
Lightning, Helix that
Helix
could be lethal. Just attack, cast Lightning Helix.
Sure. Everything's great. Can 3 him with the Helix, hit him with the Firewalker.
Cryptic Command back up for Lightning Helix.
Hits him with Firewalker. Bryant's at 3. And there's the Helix for lethal. Game and match. Will Harrod He's now 2-0 on camera. He improves to 6-0, and we're going to be seeing more of him on day 2, almost certainly.
Yeah, and I like the way that actually both players played this matchup. Bryant navigated that quite well given his position, and Will, the conservative lines I really like there. The worst thing you can do with these control decks when you have access to interaction against burn is just be a little too quick to tap your mana.
Yeah, well, and he split the difference really well there too. You talk about these conservative lines, and I like them there, but there was this turn during that game, especially game 3, where he was deciding, when do I try for this timely reinforcements? He had 5 mana, and he could just go for it with nothing. On 6, he could go for it with Snapcaster Spell Snare, and on 7, he could have the